What's going on, everyone? It's Robert O'Crook from the Digital Nomads Forum. This week's video is from Digital Nomads Forum community member Jackie. So Jackie said that she got an Upwork and got her first few clients, but one of them didn't pay her very well and basically abused her. She tried to leave, but they convinced her to stay. She did the best that she could, gave the client everything she wanted without burning out or taking away from her other clients, but she knows she should have left. They parted on good terms and she's relieved, but she's kind of feeling defeated. She saw warning signs and knew that she should have passed on this client. So she asked about some warning signs with a potential client and proper ways to set boundaries with clients. And so I've got a handful of them that have served me extremely well over the years that I've been freelancing. And I'd like to think that I've been relatively successful as a freelancer and had very few conflicts where there's been an issue of kind of, intense tension or conflict with the client. Things mostly have worked out and people I've worked with have been happy. And part of that is basically putting in place these tips I'm going to share with you now. So the first one that I can share with you is to always jump on a call with a new potential client. Video calls are probably the best, but a phone call is fine too. And the reason that one of these call types is important is because you're going to get a vibe from this person. When you're starting to talk to them, when you're seeing them talk or just hearing them, you'll be talking through however you like to do it, ask some questions, see what they need help with, and through consciously listening to how they communicate with you, you'll get a sense maybe if they seem really friendly and casual, relaxed, someone who might be a good fit in the long term, or maybe you get this other sense that they're kind of uptight, or maybe they're kind of putting you down, or not putting you down, but making it really clear that they're the boss and you're the servant kind of thing. You'd be amazed at kind of the subtleties you can notice just by paying attention. Now, this is not a foolproof method. This is just kind of relying on your gut, but it's your first point of contact with the client, and so just be kind of tuned in. Like Jackie said, I definitely saw the warning signs and should have passed. If you see the warning signs, pass. Now, I know it's hard to pass when you're hungry, when you're worried about making more money, you got bills to pay, mouths to feed, dreams to fulfill, adventures to go on. Then, it's very easy for some people. It's easy for myself, let me say, sometimes to get excited about earning a lot of money and kind of getting a little bit more wiggly on my values. But as time has gone on, I've gotten a lot better about not doing that, really noticing what kind of clients do I want, and then just no, being good about saying no to things that are clients, jobs, whatever it is, they're not good fit for me. And that's what I recommend you do. So calls are your first place to start out. The next huge tip I have for people is always get paid up front, at least partially, before starting any work. This is a no compromise, no way around this. If you're gonna build a website for $1,000, you're gonna do anything for $500, $1,000, whatever it is, it's a fixed price. Then you're gonna ask to get 50% up front. You can adjust the percent if you like. I usually just keep it simple. 50% up, 50% up front, 50% upon completion. If they don't like it, too bad. If they don't like it, that's a great sign they're not going to be a great client, because I've literally worked with dozens of clients at this point, and that these terms are almost always totally, completely fine. So get paid first, always, before starting any work. And then if payments are overdue or anything like that, pause in a polite way. Just let them know, hey, I'm happy to continue working, get this stuff done for you, but I'm still waiting on this invoice to get paid. And you just keep reminding them to get that paid especially if they keep asking you to do additional things. Well, your reply to each additional request is always coming back to, hey, we got to get this sorted out before we move forward. Next thing, boundaries, setting a boundary. So when you're starting a project, what's really helpful is to be very specific about setting your project scope. So what does that mean? Project scope is like exactly the deliverables, specific things that you are responsible for completing and delivering. So, if you're building a website for someone, that is vague. Hey, I'll build you a website for $1,000. A better example is, hey, I'm gonna build you a 5-page website. I'll be responsible for making it look beautiful on desktop, mobile, and tablet. You'll be responsible for providing me with all of the text, the images, your logo, the colors you want to use, the fonts you want to use. You got to really think about the whole picture of the work you're delivering. What do you need from them? Great. Outline that. Let them know explicitly that's what they have to provide. And then what do you have to provide? On top of that, you might be thinking, what are some ways that the type of work you're doing commonly kind of blossoms or expands, and then setting the scope as, hey, I'm gonna finish this amount of work, but if we get here and you want to go more, that's fine. I can help you with that, but that's gonna be an additional cost. It's gonna cost you more to do that. So on that topic, then, if you're working on a project and you quoted $1,000, you're only halfway through, and you can tell it's going to take you a lot more work than what's fair for $1,000, then do your best as soon as you notice that you're doing too much work for what you're getting paid to proactively communicate that. Hey client, I wanted to let you know that things have been going well. Sorry, I just got Tostito chip in my mouth. Things have been going really well on this project, but I realize that it's going to take this much more work on my end. Here's why. And because of that, I wanted to know if it would feel fair to you if I could charge you this additional amount. So word it how you like, make it professional, polite. The key is to share why it's taking longer and then ask for what you need to make it feel fair. Okay. And then, when you're working through the project, you've got your scope of work defined. Whenever the client is doing what I call, not just me, many people call scope creep, that's when they're like kind of making these little requests and communicating in certain ways where it might lead you or another freelancer to kind of do more work for free or for no additional payment. That's fine, they're making the request, but you have to be diligent in letting them know, hey, I'm happy to help you with that. That's a little bit out of scope, and again, here's what it's going to cost if you'd like me to add that functionality, do this extra work, etc. So last and probably the most important, you're going to do your best. And sometimes, like Jackie, you will have an experience with a client that leaves you feeling frustrated, upset, defeated. It's happened to me, and it happens to most freelancers. That's okay. The problem is not in feeling this way and having a negative experience. In fact, that's great. As long as you learn your lesson from what happened, then you're winning. Because every time you have a negative experience with a client or something goes wrong, you feel defeated from your freelancing experience, there's something in that experience for you to learn from. Why did you not like working with that person? Was it just because of the way they communicated? Great. Be aware, be mindful of when you're interviewing your next client. Hey, are they communicating the same way that client who I didn't like was communicating? Learn what you didn't like and just don't repeat it. And if you consistently do that, then you should have no problem having years and years of highly successful freelancing and no problems. So, could talk about freelancing tips for days. These are just a couple of the kind of high level, most important ones that if you don't have in place, it's going to make it very challenging to have a smooth and successful career as a freelancer. So I hope these tips were helpful for you, Jackie, and for anybody else watching. If you have specific questions about anything related to digital nomadism and remote work, feel free to drop them in the video comments, connect with me through the Digital Nomads forum or any other contact channel. Give this video a like wherever you're watching, and if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. I'm Robert O'Crook, and I hope this was helpful. Ciao for now.